Terry here, Hot Wrench Fabrication. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am working on a 69 Camaro. Very nice car. Kind of set up for street strip. But got a couple little issues. There's some lights that didn't work. Customer wanted me to get all that stuff going, so I will show you guys what's up. I did do an inspection on it and found a few little things that I wasn't real fond about. Had this little bracket right here. You can see it's kind of crooked. The builder made it out of 1/8" steel, which is way too thin. It's actually starting to bend, so the shocks are folded forward. A little rubbing right here, and this bolt sticking out acts like a file, so this is rubbing on that. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that up. Just a bunch of little odds and ends, some safety issues, and I'm gonna address some of the wiring and stuff. Like, not sure what's going on here. We just lay wiring right across the radiator and stuff. So I'm gonna button all that up, move the horns. They're kind of ugly sitting up there. Get those to work. One of the biggest complaints was the turn signals and running lights weren't working. So I got this side apart, and the bulb was super loose in the socket. Cheap China stuff that he ordered. So I'm gonna get all that fixed up and see if we can make this thing nice. I'll show you guys along the way. Thanks for watching my 55 series. That was kind of fun. I appreciate all you guys. Trying to grow the channel a little bit and put some interesting content on there. It's gonna be a lot of electrical on this one, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. I really like to clean the electrical up. I'll show you some other issues that I found. So stay tuned and get this thing going. Okay, so getting some of this wiring done. Show a picture of the before. I mounted the horns down behind the grill and then rewired the lights, fixed the sockets. They were all loose and weren't making right contact. And then I put this little braided stuff, the mesh braid, and a little 8L clamp on here. Nice. Redid all the wiring so it goes up underneath here with 8L clamps bolted on in there so it holds it up and it's not going to fall down. So basically this part's all done, super clean now. And then I got to work on some wiring over here. All this junk hanging down. We're cleaning all that stuff up. And huge improvement already is back here. Redoing this cables. As you can see from that picture, those cables were everywhere, so I just rerouted them through the actual box itself. So there's still plenty of room for the battery to go in there. Ran them down under the floor and then popped them back up through the floor right here, put some rubber around them so they won't chafe, and welded a bolt. Hopefully you can see that. Welded a bolt to the frame, so now the frame is 100% grounded and we can run grounds to the frame and everything is nice and clean. So I got to work on this mess over here. Still floors me that this guy just laid this stuff in here like this. Very nice. But yeah, I'm gonna work on getting that mess cleaned up. There's some other safety concerns. That I want to fix first. under this guy's budget, so we'll get this stuff going, get her cleaned up. Just, we'll need to think when they're doing wiring, like this guy right here. This is the nitrous solenoid. Boing, 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 boing. I mean, that thing's tight as heck. So you can pull that out of either the solenoid or the fitting down here. All you do is just extend that wire a little bit. So I don't know, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, we'll keep moving along. I kind of forgot to film some of this. I don't know how much of the actual work you guys want to see, or if you want to see the results. It literally took me 8 hours to do this, so I don't know how I can film 8 hours and put it into a 15-20 minute video. So I'm just kind of showing the before and after. Hopefully that interests you guys. If not, give me some comments and let me know what you guys want to see. I could do some more how-to on the wiring. I mean, wiring's kind of one of those things that not everybody understands, so I still have plenty of it, so I can show you guys some of that. All right, so one of the biggest complaints was, like I said, most of the lights don't work, turn signals don't work, the horn doesn't work. So I wired the horn up front to work correctly. You can add power or add ground to a horn, doesn't really matter. This particular button's set up to ground. So here's the switch for it, and that little round eyelet right there is the ground, which is supposed to screw into that, and they just had it physically stuffed into that hole right there. They just had it sitting there. I mean, it actually fits okay, but I mean, it's not really a good ground. And then this side goes in this hole, and then it makes contact. So this is a grounding button. So basically you have to run this through a relay in order to ground the relay and then add power to the horns. So I could have put power to the horns permanently and then fed it through ground through here, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to take the steering wheel off and see what's going on. This is kind of loose. Turn signals don't work, like I said. So I'm going to take all that apart next and see what's up, see if I can fix it. Okay, problem solved. So some people just shouldn't be working on cars. So this ring right here, which is grounded, is supposed to hit this button. They put the spring on, the spacer on, then this was on, then the steering wheel was pushing on all of that, and there's no way it was going to work because this was like a mile away from hitting that button. Kind of hard to see. So they had everything backwards. Spacer goes first, then this guy goes on, then the spring, then the steering wheel. So got my little probe here. So now it has ground. So this is contacting that button. Ground in there, and then this little piece right here goes into here, and this little eyelet screws into here once I find the right screw for it, and then everything should work. So yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. So these power probes are pretty cool. Touch this, you can apply ground and test them out. So there's the relay that was already installed, so I figured it did have to have a relay since it was ground side operated, but yeah, so this will work. So we'll find a screw for that, put this all back together, and we should have a working horn. Anyway, back to the power probe. For doing old cars like this, they're absolutely fantastic because you can power things up, go forward. We're applying 12 volts, you can apply a ground. So see a little negative here and a little positive there. When you go backward, you apply a ground. When you go forward, you apply power. You can check real quick for continuity. See if things are grounded or powered the way they're supposed to be. And these things are handy. It has a built-in circuit protector on there. Then there's a couple different modes that you can do with it. But yeah, these things are sick. You just hook it to the battery, and then if you actually ground this, you can apply power to like a motor or a fan. Put one side on the power, one side on the ground of the fan, and you can apply, I mean, you can make it work wherever you want. So pretty cool stuff. Highly recommend it. Nice tool. All right, back to this. Okay, so I got the brake lines fixed. So see how this little, what you call it? I don't know what they are. Little molded pieces in there. Anyway, that acts like a block to keep this from spinning. He had going this way and then ran it up underneath here, so it's getting caught. The purpose of these is so that something doesn't hit this and twist it and breaks the line loose. If you push on this hard enough, you could just break this loose without a wrench. So I put it back in here where it belongs, and now it's way back here out of the way. Same thing with this side. Super easy, it's out of the way. It's literally a 5-minute fix. And then over here, this cable right here was rubbing on that exhaust. It's actually melted a little bit. So put a little clamp on there, and that's fixed. Super easy. And then back here, I'm starting on the brackets for the shocks. The fabricator decided that he wanted to try and kill somebody, so he made these brackets out of 1/8" material. Look how thin that is. You're holding up the whole entire car with two little thin 1/8" brackets. And you can see how they bent. It's just ridiculous. Look at this. So that's how much they bent. You see the gap through there? And that's causing the whole back of the car to sag down a little bit. I just don't understand it. But we'll fix that. Just make 4 new brackets and get it back to where it's supposed to be. Make it out of 1/4" thick steel. That way it'll be fine. So that's what I'm doing next. Cut me out some brackets, put that together, and then I think I'm just about done with this thing. So we'll get that done. Alright, bracketry is done. Powder coated, bolted back on with grade 8 bolts with washers instead of cheapy bolts and no washers. As you can see, the shocks are nice and straight. They're not leaning forward like they were before. So, very nice. So that back end's pretty much done. Oh, I gotta put this back on. Forgot about these hoses. Got a little clamp back on there. And I'm working on some wiring up front now. The wiring to the fan just kind of laying there. They had the main power cable from the alternator going over the top of the motor and then back to the starter. And I'm just going to run it down the front of the motor and back to the starter. It's a lot cleaner way to do it. So yeah, that's what I'm working on now. Alright, well, I found this to be quite interesting. So this piece of wire here, this black one, it's exactly 6 feet long. And it was hooked up right here at this relay. And it went out along this red wire all the way up, looped around, came all the way back, and went in right here. Literally from here to here. It's 3 inches. Maybe 4 if you ask my wife. But yeah, I have no words. 6 feet of wire looped around to go 3 inches. I don't get it. So we had a power wire running, big red nasty wire running all along here, and then dropped back down, went to the starter. So what I did was took that same wire, put a little nylon coating on it, ran it down in front, so it actually gets it behind the headers. I was able to cut off about a foot of wire and got it cleaned up in the meantime. And then all we have left is this one, which looks like it's about a foot too long also. So I need to tie this wire with this wire, and that feeds the fans. So I'll put a little coating on there, put this little thermostat chingadera in there, make it all clean. Alright, so I think I'm done with this bad girl. I did a bunch of little cleaning up of wiring and whatnot, and such as. I think it turned out pretty nice. Last thing I did was the nitrous system. Showed you that picture with all the yellow wires just going everywhere and zip tied to this and that, and it's just super ugly. Put a nice little loom, ran it under the manifold. Had the wire coming from the alternator across here. That's gone now, it runs underneath there. Made a separate, or consolidated the ground, put the ground back behind the motor instead of having it go into the intake manifold. And then I made these wire loom separator, or spark plug wire separators out of zip ties. Super easy, but does a good job of separating them, making them nice. They had them all just bundled together and zip tied to the dipstick. It's just so dumb. You get some cross interference when you do it like that. You can have a misfire. So both sides are done, all cleaned up. So yeah, the thing looks pretty good. All the lights work. I fixed his little headlight. This one over here didn't really work very well. It didn't want to open and close. So I'll reach down here, and now they open up. See the running lights down there work the way they're supposed to. And of course, closes back up. Nice. So that's done and looking good. Back end, trunk's all finished and cleaned up. That rat's nest going in here, I can't even see where the wires are now. All the battery cables are gone, stuck underneath. Made the lid for this. Finished the closure. That looks nice. So yeah, just some minor work, a little bit of cleaning up, a little bit of thought on what not to do. We had a fuel line rubbing on a bolt with the power wire going to the fuel pump. Both of those rubbing on the same bolt, which is this bolt right here. This is the original trunk strap. Oops, trunk strap, the fuel tank strap. They weren't even being used. It was just hanging there, acting like a file, sawing through this guy's fuel line and the electrical, ready for a freaking bomb to go off. And he had the transmission cooler line was actually melting on the header. That stuff's very flammable, so there's another bomb. The nitrous wire going to the manifold was like a banjo. It was so tight, that thing was ready to break. So now you're losing nitrous when you're going down the track. Just a bunch of little stuff is just crazy. I think the funniest thing was that when I was playing with this wiring, I already showed that to you guys, but this wire right here, which is literally 3 inches long, he had 6 feet of wire taped up into a loom. 6 feet, 72 inches. I measured it. It's nuts. Why would you do that? So I just cleaned a bunch of things up, routed them, rerouted them, made it nice. So I appreciate you guys watching. My next one's going to be a 62 Nova that I'm completely building. It's just a shell right now. So the customer's going to be dropping that off within the next few weeks. So that's going to be a complete build, kind of a big one. So lots of content on that. But once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Trying to build this up, and I see some of you guys are subscribing here and there. I'm gaining them a little bit at a time, but I would appreciate it if you guys would hit the like and put some comments. I don't really see many comments. It's kind of hard for me to respond because there's nothing to respond to. And if you do put a comment and I don't see it, it's just because I don't check them very often because I don't get them. So if you would put more comments on there, I would read more, and I would get your suggestions and hopefully put some more content that you guys are interested in. But thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, we'll see you later.